Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me for this acrylic painting tutorial. In this video, I'll be showing you how to paint a lantern with a kind of a summer night sky with some fireflies and flowers on the sides, wildflowers. I'm going to try to keep it very I've got my husband Mark here with me today.
Hey there, everybody.
He's in trouble already. We just started.
Oops. Forgot to plug that in.
Yeah, that's okay. Has some little audio difficulties there.
We're professionals again.
Yeah. All right, let's get started. All right, I'll be using a 9 by 12 inch canvas panel. This is my Fredrix Pro linen, Belgian linen canvas board. 9 by 12, nope. Well, that says 8 by 10, but it's at 9 by 12 here. And let me go over our colors real quick. I've got titanium white, quinacridone magenta, cadmium yellow medium, teal, phthalo blue, green shade. This is phthalo blue light. Light phthalo blue, but it's just white plus phthalo blue, so you don't have to go out and buy it, but I have it pre-mixed here. This is light ultramarine blue, same deal, just a white plus ultramarine blue, which is this one. Dioxazine purple and carbon black. So you don't have to use these exact colors. This is just the colors that I found in the lighthouse or the lantern reference photo. It's a digital photo that I found off of Shutterstock, so I paid for the rights to use it for this video. And I just really liked the colors and the kind of theme. So we're going to be doing our own version in acrylics for this painting. Let me grab my chalk really quick. I'm just going to use my regular school chalk here, and I'm just going to mark out sort of where I generally want my lantern to be so that I know where to put the glow in my night sky. Now I'm really not going to do anything but just kind of map out the borders of my grasses. Are going to kind of come up this way and kind of cup the sides a little bit, and then our glow is going to be right in this area. It's kind of almost smack dab in the middle. You could put it off to one side if you wanted to. Maybe we'll put it off to one side just a little bit over here, and it's just below the halfway mark on our canvas. So kind of fit it in that little, if you kind of split it this way and this way, just kind of fit it in that little section right there. We'll put our lantern right there. I'm just going to put a big old circle right where I want my brightest spot to be. And then everything else will be kind of a little bit darker around it. I think I do want it kind of in the middle. I just think it's going to look better. All right. I'm going to use a large, this is my Princeton 6100 series brush, so Filbert. So I'm going to use a few different brushes for this. You don't have to have all of these brushes, but these are just kind of the ones I think I might use. We never know until we get going. But I've got a couple Filberts, a number 4 and a number 8, a number 4 bright, and a number 2 round. And then you'll want some sort of a scrubber brush. So I've got a couple different options for the scrubber. This one is called a Fix-It. This is a Select Fix-It brush. It's kind of got a firm tip, hard bristles there. And then this one is the Willow's Blender 3/8 inch. And I've also got the 1/4 inch. You can also use these little pouncers if you've got them. We'll do that for some of the Fireflies dots. And then you're going to want something to splatter with. So I've got a couple of fan brushes. You could use a toothbrush, something like that. And then I'm also going to be using a liner brush for some of the grasses. And then I've got my angle brushes out just in case. They're always good for grasses too. So I've got a 3/8 inch and a 1/4 inch angle. So like I said, there's a lot of brushes here, but you don't need all of them. Just kind of use what you've got. And I'm going to start out with the large Filbert. You could use a flat brush if you've got it. The rounded edges will just make the getting some of these circles a little bit easier if you use a Filbert. But if you've got a bright brush or a flat, you can use that instead. So I'm going to start right in that center of my brightest spot. And with my white here, I'm just going to make a big circle and go out farther than I need need to. So I want to go out a little bit past where my white's going to end. And pick up a little bit of water. And then I'm going to grab my teal and I'm going to mix that in, pulling off some of the paint from the side. And I'm always pulling from the side of the puddle of the paint, not from the middle of it. And that way I can keep this side clean. It'll leave my paint working a little bit longer. I'm just going to go around with that kind of mixed color and pull it. I started out outside the edge and I've lightly pulled in towards the center of my glowing. That's the real trick to get that kind of glow. You kind of you want this part to be almost pure white, and then we're going to go really dark around the outside, and that'll really pull that focus in towards that light center, make it look really bright and give it that glowing effect. All right, and I'm going to grab a little bit more teal, again going around the outside of where I want the darkest color to be, and then lightly blending towards the center. This part is still wet in here, so it's going to blend really nicely for me. Just don't go too far towards the center because you don't want to cover up all of your white. If you do get a little bit too much in there, you can let that dry, and then you can start with the white again and kind of pull it out towards the middle a little bit. So I think that's good. I'm going to go ahead and start working on the outer area there. I'm going to grab some of that phthalo blue and mix that with the teal and white. And I'm going to start going around like this. I'm going to get a little bit more water. Having a little bit of water in your brush will help you get these blends. If it's starting to get dry and kind of the paint is breaking up, just pick up a little bit of water with the tip of the brush. Don't dunk it, but you want to just kind of pick up a little bit on the just about halfway, and that way you keep your brush hydrated. I'm just going to be working around here. I got a little bit of that darker color in the middle where I didn't want it, so I'm going to wipe my brush off and grab a little bit of that white, and I'm going to go over that really lightly. Okay.
We got a question.
Okay.
We have a moment. They would like to know, how do you get long, even brush strokes? They said they can only seem to drag the paint an inch or two, which makes theirs look kind of choppy.
I think that the key is the water, having enough moisture in your brush and having enough moisture in your paint. The heavy body acrylics especially are very thick, so you definitely need to add a little bit of water. I'm dipping in and adding water to my palette as I work, and that paint will go a lot farther than, but you can see how it will break up, and I just have to reload. As I get out farther away from this part, I want it to be kind of a smooth glow, and then as I get out here, I'm going to start sort of doing some more choppy brush strokes. So I'm going to pull some of that darker color into the lighter area and just make it a little bit more soft, choppy, like things are going on out here. Maybe there's some bushes or trees back here that we're just seeing a little indication of them. So just kind of having a little bit more choppy brush strokes will give that effect. And it's also a little bit easier, I think, for beginners to blend this way. So you don't have to do the perfectly smooth brush strokes all the way out. Let's go ahead and start grabbing some of the Ultramarine Blue. And we're going to work that in. We're definitely doing darker corners, so all of the corners are going to be a lot darker. So we can do the lighter color kind of up toward the middle and sides. bit more of that ultramarine blue. And you can see how I'm working also the wet edges. So I'm working into this wet into wet. It'll blend a little bit easier for you if you keep working around your wet edges. So I'm not going to go in and mess with any of this right now because it's starting to dry. So I wouldn't want to do I wasn't going to pull in from the dark into the light, because then I might get a hard edge where this is dried already and this wet paint is coming down into it. It's not going to blend. So that's why I've kind of worked from my center out into these darker areas. So now I'm getting almost pure blue here, ultramarine blue. I'm going to grab some of that lighter color that's this color. Grab some of that teal and phthalo blue mixture and just kind of blend those two together a little bit. Just dabbing over. I'm probably going to need to blend that out a little bit more, but that'll be good for now. See, and that's what I was talking about, where that's a little bit harder to blend because this part was already dry. So it's not going to blend as I touch over the top of it. And I want to make sure that it's completely wet, because if I mess with it right now while it's halfway dry, it could lift off my canvas. That's really one of the trickier things with acrylics, is they don't like to be messed with while they're drying. So they'll just lift right off the canvas. They'll stick to your brush. They get sticky as they dry, and so they'll just stick right to your brush and come right off onto the brush. All right, mixing some purple. This is the Dioxazine Purple. Really dark. It's almost black. So I'm definitely wanting to pick up a little bit of this white blue, the white that was mixed with the blue, so that it's not pure purple. I don't want to cut it too much with the white, because I do want it to be nice and dark, but it'll look black if you don't put a little tiny bit of white in it with it. And then let's go ahead and put it down here too. And play around that edge. I'm going to have to add some more blue down here below, but it's all right.
That's what I was thinking when you were originally putting it in there, but I didn't want to say anything.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, man, she's going to need some more blue right there. What's she doing?
Why didn't you say anything?
Well, I figure you were a pro and you knew what you were doing, so I was like, okay, maybe she's going a different direction with this. So I just kept quiet.
Thanks, son.
You're welcome.
Ultramarine blue here. And this is starting to dry now, so I'm going to have to get a little bit of the white and phthalo blue that was this color, and I'm just going to blend it back over the top of that purple that I've tried, the purple and ultramarine blue that I'm introducing right there. That's what you do if your layer underneath is dried. That's how you blend it. You just reintroduce that color as if it was still wet. Blend right back over the top of the paint you just added. Okay. I'm doing all kinds of interesting shapes in here too, not just kind of doing the halo. Maybe looks like a forest or something happening back there. You can get creative with it, do whatever you'd like. But I'm trying to keep it kind of amorphous, like sort of, that's a big word, isn't it? Indistinct. I don't want anything too prominent showing up here. I just want it to kind of look fuzzy and soft. So using these small brush strokes, and I'm just basically doing X marks. I'm doing one brush stroke this way and one brush stroke this way, and having this rounded tip on my Filbert, you can see it adds this kind of rounded look to the brush strokes as they hit the canvas there. So it kind of adds a softer line than you would get with a liner, like with a hard flat brush. Which I like that look too, but this one we're just trying to keep it kind of soft and rounded. So mixing this color now, that's that teal with the little bit of the phthalo blue. And get it as close as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm just kind of trying to soften up that edge between those two colors just by tapping some of that color back over the top. Grabbing a little bit of the Ultramarine Blue, that was this color, and tap that back over as well. I need to get a little bit of water. You can see my brush is splitting a little bit. Oh, I've got a straight hair there. So I want to pick up a little bit of water, rehydrate it. I'm going to get down in here and add some color right up underneath around my lantern. So I'm just trying to kind of work out all of these little white spots that are on the canvas.
So are you doing like X strokes or something like that?
What?
I was trying to figure out how you were doing that. Are they like just X strokes?
Yeah, they're kind of just a couple in this direction, couple in that direction. Just back and forth.
And then forth and back?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The tendency is to get going and you'll end up, you'll have your own rhythm and it won't look exactly like mine will. That's kind of one of the things that's interesting about, acrylic painting in general, is just everybody's going to have their own kind of way of holding the brush, and the way, that just like in your handwriting, it's going to be different than mine. The way you do these kind of little dabs is going to be different. You may end up doing them, pushing down harder than me, or using a bigger brush or whatever, but the tendency is to kind of get going in a rhythm and end up doing the same stroke over and over again. So just same dab, 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 and you'll end up with a repeated pattern. So you're just kind of trying to fight that, and just remind yourself to change direction every now and then. And the more you do that, the more it'll become natural, and you won't have to remind yourself to change the direction of your brush strokes. But at first, when you kind of start getting going with this, you'll notice that every now and then you'll have some repeat patterns, and if you see that, just kind of dab back over them and kind of cover that up. You don't want any repeat patterns, or kind of what will make your painting look a little bit less realistic. And this one really is kind of a fantasy anyway, so it doesn't matter all that much, but we do want to keep that in mind. Grabbing some purple here, do some darker purple down in this corner, just like we did over there. We're going to add black over the top of this when we do our greenery, but we do want to have a little bit of something there maybe. I'm going to add a little bit of water. Here we go. A little bit of water. The more you paint, the more moisture kind of seeps out of your brush. The canvas kind of wicks it out like a sponge almost. So you just have to keep your brush moistened.
So is there going to be a traceable for this part of the painting?
For this part?
Yeah,
no.
for this part. No.
No.
Okay.
Why
All right.
would I need one?
I'll try to do it without it.
All right, adding a little bit of ultramarine blue and the royal ultramarine blue and phthalo blue. Thank you. Couldn't think of the name. Together here.
I love when you're so polite to yourself. Oh, thank you.
Thank you, brain, for remembering that.
Just remember to say please and thank you to yourself.
Well, yeah. I mean, all right, just adding a little bit of the lighter color there. I don't want it too dark right in here because I want that really good contrast between when I put my dark foliage in there, that silhouette of the plants and things. So I'm just kind of going back in here and making this area down here low, a little bit darker, or a little bit brighter, right around my lantern. And I'm probably going to need to move that glow up a little bit. I can see now that I'm not leaving myself enough room for my thing, but I'm going to go ahead and sketch in my lantern now, and that way I can kind of tell where to put the rest of my things here. And I'm just seeing some white spots, so I'm just going back in with some wet down paint. That's the best way to kind of fill in your little dots that'll kind of happen on your canvas. After you paint your first layer in, you'll see these little white dots kind of peeking through. So just wet down your paint a little bit, get kind of a thin layer wash of paint, and paint over those areas, and it'll just seep right down into those little white spots and soak in to the canvas. Fill them in. You don't have to paint over with a solid color. And then it makes it a little bit easier so you don't have to mess up what you've already got going on. I like that. I think it's already kind of looking kind of spooky. So let's do some splattering. Mark was already posting in my Facebook group, #splatter movement.
Before she even told me she was going to be
Speculating
splattering.
that there might be some splatters tonight.
Yeah, it looked like a perfect setup for splatters.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
We've been missing it.
That's true. It's been a few weeks.
It has.
All right. We did splatters last Saturday with the fish. Fishing lures. We did some splattering. This guy.
Oh, yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little.
Just like a tease.
Yeah. Right. All right, so I'm going to use this light phthalo blue. It's already, pre-mixed with some white. I might add just a little bit more of the phthalo blue because it seems pretty bright. We'll see how it does. I don't want to go too bright right at first. And I'm just using my fan brush, and I'm going to add a bunch of water. The more water I add, the bigger my splatters will be. So we kind of do want a little bit larger splatters. You just kind of might want to practice on a blank piece of paper, or off to the side a little bit, to just kind of see how drippy you want your paint to be. But I'm just going to kind of scoop it up on my brush here and then tap it on my paper towel just a couple of times to get the worst of the big splatters off. And then I'm just going to tap with the back of my hand here. Get some of that nice splatters going. And I don't want to hit it too hard. If I hit it too hard, I'll get these kind of strings. So just kind of tap lightly. If you have enough water in there, they'll come off pretty well for you. You won't have to press too hard.
So about how far away from the canvas are you holding it?
That's about really 4 inches away.
Okay. And is there a difference if you hold it real close or real far? Or it's just a preference?
Well, I don't like to hold it too close because then you get a real tight splatter patterns. It looks unnatural. So if you go a little higher, you kind of get a little bit wider splatter pattern, and it doesn't look as forced or whatever. Okay, I'm gonna, and then if you've got any that you really don't like, or you're just like, that didn't look good, you can kind of tap them off. Make sure your background color is dry, which mine is not, so this is tricky. I can end up lifting my color if I'm not too careful here. I don't want to do that. So let me go ahead and grab my Fix It brush here. This is number 2. I'm going to get a little bit of water. I'm going to grab my Quinacridone Magenta and some white. I'm going to make a light pink color. I'll wipe that off. I'm just going to pick a couple spots here and just do some little scrubbing. I'm just holding it straight up and down to the canvas. Oh yeah, that is taking the paint right off. I may have to wait a little bit. I may have to let you dry this before I can do anything else on, because it's
splatters and drying on the same show.
Well, I'm just afraid I'm gonna.
Yeah, I think we should play it safe.
I'll let you take it and dry it off real good.
I'll be back in about 20 minutes. Where's the blow dryer?
There's one in the bathroom. All right, let's go ahead and do something on our little stickman guy while we're waiting. Let's give him a little lantern here. Let him be holding a little lantern down here off his arm. Like he needs another thing to be holding, right? Let's see, like this. It's not going to look that great, but that's all right. There we go. This is our little mascot. Mark started him a couple of years ago, and we've done several shows with Stickman. It's been a while. I kind of have been forgetting to do him lately, so. But we try to add something to him. There's his little lantern hanging off. Something on him pertaining to whatever it is we're painting that particular day. So I'll show you what we're working on Tuesday nights. If you missed it, we've got a series going that I'm really loving. And we've got our first 4 done. It's our Songbird series, and we're working on these little 5-inch canvases. I'm calling it Tiny Tuesdays. It's helping me kind of keep a little bit shorter videos, so they're about an hour long on Tuesday nights. And we'll be adding 3 more. We'll have another one up here, and then 2 more on this other side. And you can, they can go separately, or they can kind of hang together. But keeping them pretty simple. They're definitely I think beginner level paintings. I don't think that I've been seeing several people painting them, and they've been looking really good. So I think that they're definitely doable for a beginner. All right, let's go ahead and use Thank You, Honey. I'm going to use the little paint daubers here. I'm going to dip them in the water. Just kind of squeeze out the extra paint. I'm going to grab a little bit of the light Ultramarine Blue. Kind of mix that in with that thinned out Phthalo blue so that it's got a little bit of water in there. Don't want it too thick. And I'm going to pick a couple areas and just set it down and twist. This will give us some really nice, super easy. I'm using about a 1/2 inch size, I think. Something like that. There we go. use the smaller size here. I'll grab some of that phthalo blue. Maybe a tiny bit of that pink. That's really actually kind of similar to the color I just used. Get a little bit more pink in there. A little bit of water just to make it more fluid, and then dab it off on the paper towel before you go to the canvas. Ooh, don't want it too juicy or it'll do kind of bubbles like that. Let's try it again. Dab it off a little bit more. There we go. It's still pretty juicy there. There we go. I'm going to use this scrubber. Actually, let me go ahead and grab the little bit. Or we'll try the Willow's blender here. I'm going to grab some teal and a little bit of white. It's a little bit softened. Ooh, super chat.
Super chat, baby.
Nice.
Let's see here. This one's from, oh man. I've
What?
got her name wrong before, and I'm going to get it wrong again. It's, in America, we would say Jan.
Oh, yawn.
Jan says, "You're my favorite teacher, Angela. Thanks
Aw.
for all you've taught me. Here's to a late birthday pizza.
Ah, that's
Have a
great.
nice evening."
Thank you. That's awesome. It was Mark's
That's
birthday
great.
last week.
Thank you so much.
That's great.
And sorry about mispronouncing your name.
What?
I was just apologizing for mispronouncing her name.
Oh. You can turn off the lights now.
I can, yes, but I also cannot. Oops, I think I will.
Thank you. All right, so I'm just using this brush to kind of draw in these circles here. Just the key is to not have too much paint on your brush at one time. So if you have too much paint, it'll just kind of come out as a big blob. You kind of won't get that those wispy edges that we're looking for. So you can kind of see the difference between this and this. This got a little bit harder, sharper edge. This one's a little bit softer. Both are fine. I'm just kind of doing a combination of both because I like both looks. So I want to do some very small. I honestly think with this one you can almost not do too many, but I'm going to stop there and I'm going to grab some cadmium yellow, some white. I'm going to do just a couple of them with some yellow. I'm keeping these ones pretty small. I don't want to overpower anything. There we go. I did just like 5. And then I think I'm going to grab some more of the Quinacridone Magenta and try to do a few more of the pink ones, a little bit darker this time. Add a little bit of white to them. We'll try doing this one again. There we go. get it too dark, you can always kind of use your finger to sort of blend it out. I'm going to put a little bit of the pink inside a couple of these that I've already got going here. There we go. And then I'm going to grab my, well actually let's go ahead and draw in our lantern first. So I'm going to go ahead and use a, yeah, I'll go ahead and use the pencil. Alright, so my basic lantern shape is going to be right in here. I want to leave enough room down here for the base, which is kind of a square. It's a little bit slightly tilted to the side. So it's kind of slightly tilting that way, just it's not quite perfectly straight. So these lines here and here are a little bit angled. So I'm just going to give a little bit of a rectangle base right there, and then the glowing part of the glass is going to be up on a little pedestal, so there's a little bit smaller rectangle right above that one. And then my glass is going to come out and up around my glowing space there. I can see I need to bring my teal in a little bit. And I don't want this glass part to go above the halfway mark. So this is my halfway mark. So I want it to end right about here. That way I've got plenty of room up here for my handle and things to go. So I want it to end right about here, and I want to make sure that this line and this line are parallel. And I'm going to kind of come straight down almost and round out like that for my lantern. This might come out a little bit more this way. I'm using a water-soluble pencil. You could use a chalk, whatever you've got. Watercolor pencil. Somebody was using a chalk marker, which I thought was an amazing idea. I need to get myself some chalk markers because I think that that will make this a lot easier. And then there's a little lip there. He's got a little hat on him, like that. And a big square rectangle area that's kind of sticks out here and here. Rounded on the top. Looks just like a little hat. And then on top of that, there's like a little two raised things like that. And then another little smaller hat right there. And then our sides of the lantern, right from the middle of this out on either side is our handle, or the sides of the lantern, I guess. It's going to come in fairly close to the edge of this, circle around and attach to the bottom right of the base there. Circle there, down. And you're just trying to get these two sides even. If you wanted to, you could draw it out on paper and draw one half of it and fold it in half, and that way you'd have an exact copy, exact mirror image of your lantern. But I think we're getting close enough here. There we go. I think I want to angle that down a little bit more. It slips down a little bit more quickly. There we go. And then our handle is going to come out from right here. It's going to come in come in and then back out and circle around the top. Like that. And there'll be a big X right there, but I'm not going to draw that in. I'm just going to paint it in because I don't want to. Right now I'm going to mess with this glow part here. I'm going to bring that teal a little bit farther in. So I'm going to use my Willow's blender. We could use your Filbert again if you wanted to, but I'm just gonna use this and see if I can get it to give it just a little bit of color right in there. Bring that teal in just a little bit more. And then I'm going to grab the Phthalo blue and bring this in around the outsides a little bit more right here. So that the inside of that lantern is a little bit brighter than the outside area. I'm just going right around the outside edge with this phthalo blue color. There we go. I'll grab some white. Add the white to the center. And then I'm going to grab some more of that teal. Maybe a tiny, tiny bit of yellow.
I don't think we ever said hi to everybody. And welcome to the channel.
I just got kind of busy painting, didn't I?
I know. That's kind of odd.
More white here, work my way out. Yeah, hi everybody. Well, you did kind of get me a little bit distracted there at the beginning with their hearing myself talk.
Yeah, true.
Echo.
Yeah. But anyway, say,
throws me off.
welcome to the Professional Painting Channel. Glad that you found us. If it's your first time, you can subscribe and check out Angela's channel. It's got a few hundred videos for all levels of complexity, from beginner to more advanced stuff.
Yeah.
You can hit the little bell, get reminded. We stream live almost every Saturday and Tuesdays.
Unless we're on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we got our vacations done early this summer, so we're pretty much done, I think.
Hopefully. We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see? Okay. You have something planned that I don't know about?
No.
Okay.
Well, there you can like the channel, subscribe, like I said. And if you subscribe, you can jump into the chat, catch up with all the dad jokes that are being told in honor of Father's Day tomorrow.
Ah, yes. That is right. This is another good Father's Day, I think. I think this one would work because it's kind of almost like a camping theme. This would definitely work for Father's Day, I think. We did our fishing one last weekend for the dads with Mark's Choice, which I liked. I liked how it turned out. It's cute.
It's going pretty well. And down below in the painting is a list of all the materials and supplies that she's using. Links to brush guides for 5% off brushes.
Yes.
Social media, Facebook groups, Patreon. You can get traceables for $1 a month. All the traceables you want. Going back to February 2017. And
Just
then
darkening up right here around the edges of the glass. Yep, go ahead.
and also there's other, so that's the $1 level. The $5 level gets you the traceables plus access to a bonus video, which will be next Sunday.
Yeah.
And what are we? Sorry,
Painting a
what are you
hydrangea
painting?
next week.
You're painting a hydrangea
next weekend
next
on Sunday for the bonus video for patrons.
That.
It's just a thank you. It's just to say thank you for those who are helping to support our channel.
Yeah. Then
That's all.
the $10 level is gets all that stuff plus also access to a private Facebook group where also she does a weekly art chat and like a monthly
Challenge image.
challenge series, more painting.
Yep.
So it's a way to support the channel. Say thanks. We don't have $1 million level set up yet. We're trying to work those details out. So Elon, Bill.
I don't think there's a lot of people clamoring for that level, hon.
Well, like I said, Elon and Bill, they've been asking me when
Really?
are they gonna
Okay.
get that? Yeah. So Alice
Going back in with the white here.
Alice Walton. You know,
Yeah, she is local.
she is.
She might. You never know. She might need to learn to paint. I know she likes the arts, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so there we go. We got our glow there going on. I just had to adjust it a little bit. If you've got the traceable, you won't have to do that because you'll just have it already mapped out where exactly that is. But let me see. Let's go ahead and put in, I'm going to use this brush again. It's got a little pointier tip to it. And grab my white. Rub that in, and I'm going to put in my centers of all these little glowing parts here. Just dab in. Okay. Dabbing in a little bit of white there to the center and then kind of scrubbing it around. I feel like that's not really working out very good. Let me use a different brush. Let me use my round. I think that'll work a little bit better. So grabbing a little bit of white and just finding the centers of all of these little ones we've already put in here. Dabbing in some, and I'll wipe my brush off and then just kind of brush around the outside to sort of make it a little bit bigger. There we go. This is what'll make it really look like these are glowing. And they don't all have to be white. We can do some of them, some of the ones that are not quite as bright. We can do a little bit more like lighter blues and things. You could also use, I think that Q-tips would probably work pretty well for this. I almost did this with Q-tips, but then there wasn't really enough other things to paint with them to make it worth doing. But I definitely think that this part could be done with the Q-tips maybe. Just dabbing in these white centers. And I'm just keeping my brush really upright. That's the key to doing these kind of circular, because if I get too far out, I'm not going to be able to make a circle if I have too much of an angle here. So I'm holding it straight up over the top of where I want, and then I can just kind of quickly sort of do this little circular motion and get those little bright circles going. Let me grab some of this phthalo blue light here. Use that for a few of these. Now that I kind of know where my lantern's going, I'm going to pull a few more in closer to it. What are you laughing at over there?
One of Mona's jokes.
Okay.
She asked, why did the spider eat a firefly?
Why?
Because it wanted a light snack.
That's good. That's good. No one always has the best jokes. All right, can I continue just adding? This part is pretty fun. Grabbing some more of the white there. Do some more of the bright white. I think these ones I want to do kind of a yellow. White with just a tiny touch of yellow in it for these pink ones. Dab in the center and just kind of very gently rolling the tip around to get circular. Oh, it's looking good. Okay, so these are our biggest ones, and we're going to do a bunch more smaller ones, but I'm going to go ahead and do the greenery or the foliage and things first, and then we'll put those in. So grab the black, a little bit of purple, just give it a little bit of color. Add a little bit of water. I need to spray my canvas or my palette here to get it.
Spray something.
Yeah.
Just not me, please.
No.
Thanks.
You're good. And I'm going to pull. I've got my angle brush and I've pressed it flat so that it's got a straight edge here. I'm going to pull my grasses up quickly. And I'm really just flicking. As long as I keep this direction kind of going the right way, I can get a good straight line. I want it to be almost black in this corner here. So get these really close together. The key is to not have them all being the same height or direction. So some of them turn a little bit to one side when you do this. I'm gonna bring it up here around this. I'm kind of keeping them a little smaller. Some of them going off this direction, some of them coming in towards the lantern. Most of them are going to kind of curve in towards the lantern though, but some of them we kind of want going in different directions. Get a little water on your brush. If you're not able to get these long lines, you might just need a little extra water on your brush. So I'm going to do some really tall ones. And then, like I said, as we get over this corner, I'm just going to really fill in so that it's solid black in this corners here. All right. Clean that out. And I'm going to grab a little bit of the Quinacridone Magenta and a little bit of this Ultramarine Blue, light Ultramarine Blue. Making a light violet color here. Add plenty of water. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to come in here and I'm going to go in between some of these grasses. Some of them we're going to go over the top. We'll probably put some of these black ones on top of these as well. So just putting some of these purple ones in here now. These will look like the light is hitting them and highlighting them. And if they're not showing up enough, you can just add a little bit more white to it. And some of these areas that might be closer to the lantern, the light might be a little bit brighter, so you might need a little bit brighter color there. All right, and then I'm going to use the tip of my brush to create some little lines out, and then I'm gonna do some dabbing little dots on either side to create some kind of flowery shapes here. We may need to zoom in a little bit, hon. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. Okay. Yep, good, thank you. All right, I'm going to use the tip of my brush and I'm going to just draw in some little leafy shapes on some of these. Like that. Not all of them have to have anything special. I'm just kind of doing leaves on some of them and leaving some of them plain. Got a little bit of white here. A little bit more white on this side that's real close to the lantern. Okay. And down low here, I'm going to do a few little dotted ones. Maybe use some blue.
Man, my bell ringing skills are...
Need some work, huh?
Need some work. Jeez. This super chat's from Sandy Jane Holt. She doesn't have anything specific to say, so I'm guessing that she's loving the dad jokes in chat.
Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you so much, Sandy.
I'm sure it was dad jokes for sure.
Yeah, it can't be the painting. Or maybe it was Stickman.
Could be
Earlier.
Stickman.
And I missed it. I can't believe it.
I'm going to do some... Missed what?
Stickman. You made me go out and try the painting.
Well, no, because that's when I do Stickman. That's why we haven't done Stickman in a while, because I haven't had to have you try anything in a while. All right, so just little tabby flowers here. Let's do a few more over here. Using the tip of the brush there will kind of give you some interesting. I've got like pointing it straight down almost. It'll create little random dots. Was I off camera? I probably was.
Probably. Sandy said that she's just trying to get me to talk.
She was just trying to get you to talk. You are being awfully quiet today.
You're still off camera, so I'll zoom in. Oh,
Okay.
You're barely on there. Yeah. So we try to keep up with all the comments in the videos and stuff like that. And Angela sent me a screenshot with some comments. Because and the way the YouTube creators see the comments, they see them as they come in, no matter what video they're for. So, it's not always the same video in a row. There's different videos. And so one video is like, oh, love, when Mark talks and this and that. And
yeah, your husband's so funny. He adds so much to your videos.
Yeah, and a couple comments down, I was like, that guy talks too much.
Yeah. It said the gentleman
Well, that's right, the gentleman.
talks too much. I was like, well, I think I'm going to start calling you the gentleman.
Yes.
The gentleman talks too much. It's like, Okay. Yeah, so there's just can't please everybody, obviously.
Yeah.
Some people are like, oh, he's so funny.
So
Some people are like, he talks too much.
I'm trying to figure out how to talk more without talking more. Without talking so much.
I don't think that's possible, hon. It's just going to have to just do your thing. After how many years have I been doing this, I've finally learned, or at least trying to get there, that I'm not going to be able to please everybody. There's just some people are just not going to get it. So
that's true.
Can't
That's
stress
true.
about it.
Not everybody
be
likes
me.
dark chocolate,
Exactly.
but we still like them.
Right.
We forgive them for that.
Yep. Just doing dabs on either side of these stems to create these kind of grassy looking things. All right, so now let's go ahead and put in our lantern. So I feel like he's just sitting there
Man, I missed one.
all alone. You missed one, a super chat?
Yeah, I mean, I'm out here just jabbering away, and I miss a super chat. I think they want to hear a better bell.
Nice.
It's from Sandy again. Double chat.
Ooh, thank you, Sandy.
Double super chat.
Wow. Doubly generous today. Thank you very much.
I think she wants me to keep talking. So if the person wants me to not talk, $100 super chat will get that. We'll try to work this in our advantage.
Right. How much do you not want me to talk?
Exactly. What's it worth to you?
What's it worth? To not hear me anymore this video. All right, I'm using my 1/4" angle brush, but I think I'm going to switch to my number 2 here. This is just causing problems. And I'm using black. I'm just going to go ahead and use black for this, I think. Fill in around my lantern. Keep adding water so I can get a smooth line. A little bit more water. This part could be done with a pen if you had a paint marker. If you don't like working with the brush, you know, making lines with your brush, that can make it a little bit easier. I thought this one would be pretty quick, but it's turning out to be a little bit longer. Maybe it's an hour and a half, I think. Maybe a little bit longer. We'll see. Not too bad.
It's okay. It's Saturday afternoon, so
That's right. You don't have to go.
I don't have to go to bed right after the show.
Right. Yeah, somebody was saying it sounded like I didn't want to be doing it when I was talking about time and trying to hurry up. And I was like, no, that's not it at all. I could I could paint all day and be perfectly happy.
Oh, yes,
chat
you could.
away. Just chat and lose track of time. But it's not always the greatest for the channel. So, and I know everybody's got places to be. So I will try to be as efficient as I can. That's what it's about. I would not be doing this if I didn't enjoy it, because it's a lot of work, but I love it. Love it. And I love that other people are getting to enjoy painting as much as I do through the channel. So
I know.
Get a lot of comments about that, about how they never thought they could paint, and they're doing it now, and they're just so happy with being able to paint. That's the whole thing. For me, because I remember that feeling of wanting to paint when I was in college and taking art classes, but still not quite getting the technical instruction that I was looking for. I wanted the sort of Bob Ross of acrylics type of instruction. I was using acrylics, and the Bob Ross stuff was just not cutting it. It's totally different techniques. So it was a very frustrating process of learning to paint for myself. So I'm trying to avoid that for y'all. I think that that's one of the reasons why I enjoy teaching so much, is like, I know that feeling. I remember wanting to paint, and it's a lot of work. That's all I have to say. It's not, it didn't come easy to me. Just because I'm painting quickly and easily now does not mean that it was always that way for me. It was definitely, with any, new skill, it takes time and practice, but the more you work at it, and especially if you've got some guided help like these tutorials, you can get there a little bit faster. Maybe won't make some of the mistakes that I made when I was trying to learn.
Yeah, imagine trying to learn how to play piano by yourself.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Honestly,
yeah.
You hear a lot of people who can, pick up some simple chords and stuff like that and play the piano, but to play at more advanced levels,
right,
instruction will always help get you there much quicker.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So maybe we can do a piano lesson channel.
No.
I'll drag a piano in
I
here.
tried piano. I didn't have the patience for, I could have done it probably if I had kept up with it, but I didn't have the patience for it. So I decided to focus on painting instead. So if you think you don't have talent and that's why you can't paint, that's not, I'm here to tell you that's not true. You just need practice. Practice, a little know-how.
Like practicing my cowbell ringing.
Exactly.
This chat is brought to you by Sandy.
Thank you, Sandy.
Again.
Wow.
A hat trick.
Sandy's on a roll.
She is.
I hope she's not doing that by accident. It's just like her child's in there just click and send.
Can somebody check on Sandy, please?
Yeah.
Make sure she's okay.
Is she really mean? Is she trying to say help? Like, help. Okay, going with the black outline there. This is probably the trickiest part of this whole process. So I've got a liner brush, and I've added lots of water to my paint. That's the key with the liner brush. And I'm going to guide it where I want it to go. It might help if you turn it on its side so that you're doing it in the direction that you would normally draw. So I'm going to do it this way here and show you what that looks like. And then there's a little X right here that comes around the outside, crosses right in the middle. And then another one up here, up and around. Right. Where they meet, this one's kind of going to go a little bit farther past it. This one's going to keep on kind of coming around like this and back. Down, and then this one is this coming around here and wrapping around like that. Okay, what were you saying, hon?
We got a really good question here.
Okay.
They want to know.
Yes.
They say that they're able to replicate a lot of paintings and drawings, but can't paint from the head. So I'm guessing just from imagination. So they want to know, does that make them an actual artist or not?
No, not at all. I don't do very well myself just painting from imagination. I think that takes a whole level of a different level of talent that some people, you know, are obviously gifted with, but I don't think it's a requisite for being an artist or a painter. I think most artists that I know use reference images pretty regularly. So, and I mean, you think about some of the great artists out there, you know, they either went out in the field and painted from real life, or like Norman Rockwell. You know, one of the things that we thought was really interesting about him, because I thought, you know, he's always had such really interesting expressions on people's faces in his paintings and different poses, and, you know, it's just like, how did he's so, you know, that was amazing. And then they showed his he had workbooks of images, and he went through and he posed people. He had people pose for pictures, and had people with different expressions, and he took photographs of people in all these different expressions and different poses, and if he had an idea for something, he actually had them go out and physically lay down on the ground and reach out, or whatever it was that they were doing in the painting that he wanted to do, that he had kind of in his head. He had the vision for it, obviously, but he didn't try to do it out of his head. And I think if you're wanting realistic art, that's the only way to do it, is to have reference images. You're not gonna be able to, especially at least starting out. Now the more that I paint certain things, the more easy it is for me to paint them out of my imagination. So flowers and things like that I've done a million times, I can get a close estimation, you know, to what it would look like just from my own imagination. But that takes years of doing the same thing over and over again to get that kind of memory built up in your head. But it's not it's not something that would come natural to most people, I don't think. It's a learned thing. And even still, I mean, it's like, I think about my disastrous chair painting the other day. You know, I thought I would wing it and just, you know, draw a chair from imagination. I had a reference image, but I was like, oh, I want to simplify this, you know. So I was like, I'm just gonna, you know, kind of take out some of this parts and make it a little bit more, you know, simplified, so it'll be easier for a beginner. And like the chair didn't even, like, the legs didn't match up to the arms, like it was just so bad. And I thought, there's a reason why I just stick to the reference image, you know?
I think there's a safety recall on those chairs.
Yeah, I think so too. It was so bad. It was so funny. It's just like, how hard could a chair be? But it was obviously outside my realm of imagining, so it's just funny. All right, so I've mixed up some light blue here, and I'm going to put in some light streaks, and I'm not going to press down too hard here. I just want some kind of light reflections on some of these areas here. I'm going to try to kind of fit my brush in here. There we go. Let's put a little bit along the thing there, a little bit here, a little bit along there, maybe on top. Just very lightly dry brushing, so the brush is just kind of skimming and catching the light on the top of the canvas there. Let's do a little bit on the inside of these arms.
Okay, a question came in earlier, and I was waiting for this moment, and I actually remembered.
Okay.
So the question was, like, if somebody wanted to put a bug, the person was actually saying maybe put a snail, painting a snail on the top of the lantern.
Oh, that'd be cute.
Would they do it like in black, like a shadow, or would they add some color to it, some natural?
I would probably keep it dark. I mean, you could add a little color, but I would definitely keep it dark, just because everything else is dark. You know, it's all going to be in kind of gray tones and things because of the way the light is in this painting. So yeah, I would definitely keep it, especially if it's on top of the lantern. It's not going to be getting a lot of this light, so it would definitely be dark. up there. Going back in with some of this darker black. Just kind of touching up here. Might do a little cross pieces. I see there's some little cross pieces on here, so I might try to see if I can get my black. There we go. Just take it down.
This time not from Sandy. So I think she's okay.
She's okay. All right,
Yeah.
good.
This one's from C5 Dave, an old fan of ours. He says, I've kind of stopped painting for a while, but I missed y'all too much, so I'm back. Thanks for being you, everyone.
Awesome.
Great having you back with us,
Yeah.
Dave. And thank you for the donations.
That's awesome. Thank you. I've done that at different times. There's been times when I've needed a break from painting. There's been a couple of times when I've taken took 6 months off at one point. So things come up, get burned out, go back in and try something new. Every time that I've done that, though, I've kind of always come back and done something different. I think that that's the key, is just kind of finding something new to try, something to challenge yourself. At least for me, that's what I needed. So I feel like I could have gone a little bit darker with some of this, but that's all right. All right, let's grab my angle brush back. Now I've got my lantern in. And grab my black again. Go ahead and zoom out, hon.
I almost turned on the disco lights
Oh.
instead of zooming out.
All right, so now we've got our kind of light greenery in. Now I'm going to put some of the darker on top. And I don't have to do it over the top of everything, but I think like some of these that are bigger, I'm going to try to go back over. And I really could have probably saved the black some of the black for later. Let's do one that's kind of curved over on itself. So I'm going to try to turn that brush. Probably going to be easier to do with the round brush. Let's do that. There we go. Let's do a couple of those. Ooh, super chat again. Awesome.
See, the bell's getting better. I'm getting, the rust is wearing off. This one's from Maureen Sitch. And she says, thank you, Angela and Mark, for making Saturday afternoons fun.
Aw.
Thank you so much, Maureen. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, we have fun.
We do. We do.
And we're thankful that you guys put up with us.
Yeah.
So, but you can tell that I'm still talking, that these haven't been $100 donations. So
You're still waiting for that? You just want to...
They're just paying to keep me talking. That's all they're doing.
They love you, hun.
They like me. They really, really like me.
All right, doing a few little dabs here. Let's do one that's kind of over the top of our lantern here. Pushes it back into the foreground here. Or I should say background. I'm going to do some little dots kind of low in some of these areas to kind of add a little bit of interest. big one right here. So to do these, I'm just setting my brush down and making little dots. That's all I'm doing. Just kind of dabbing it. Don't think too much about any one particular shape, because they'll kind of just come off a little bit more natural looking if you don't overthink it. So I'm just kind of going over back and forth, and then some of them I'm doing right on top of the line so that it doesn't look like it's an outline of these shapes. Some of them are going to fall right in between. All right, and I'm going to go over the top of these white lines here, these letter lines on some of these. This one. Oops, too much water. Okay, let's see, let's do one right here. We're almost done. And then I'm going to do some of these little flowers that look like they're one of those Queen Anne's lace that have the flowers that kind of go over the top there like that. So let's do a couple of those. Kind of make a bowl shape and then do some straight lines and then do your dots at the very top all the way across. Let's do a big one right up here. All right, let's do some splattering now.
Double splatter?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we need some splatter on top of this now. So I'm going to use that light phthalo blue, add some, actually let's add some teal. Teal and white. And I want nice big splatter, so I'm going to add quite a bit of water to it. get too much on the spot where you don't want it, you can dab it off with a damp paper towel. Let's do a little bit of white with a tiny bit of yellow.
Man, people love splatters so much, we might just do a painting of just splatters. I think we need to.
I love that. I did that with my kids class once. We did splatters and we did strings and splatters, and
Ooh.
then see, these are nice big ones.
Now you're talking my language. Strings and splatters. I like that.
Yeah, we dip strings and they, that one is too big right there.
Not for you. Go away.
But I do like these bigger ones. Then I got those by leaving the paint, just loading it up really thick on my brush and having it kind of thinned out. That one hit like right in the middle of that little bullseye right there. That's funny. All right, we're almost there. Let me do some smaller ones here with this. And then there's a couple of them that have the halo effect, so I'm going to go ahead and grab some of the pink and white with this little guy, and I'm going to do a couple over the top of my actual lantern there. Just a couple spots. A little bit of white. Dab in the centers of those with the white.
What brush are you using there?
This is that Fix-It. It's got kind of a circular brush with the stiff bristles.
Is it on your...
It should be in my Brush Guys
Brush
list.
Guy
They sell
list?
it on the Brush Guys website. I know. Pretty sure. Pretty sure it's in my list. If it's not, let me know and I'll add it. And then some of these that are kind of in the grasses here, I'm going to sort of go over the top of the grass and sort of fuzz out some of the colors. So some of these that were sort of behind, I'm going to go over the top and fade out some of the grass that's in front. So like the light's peeking through and kind of changing the color a little bit. I think we're about done.
Oh, we need to keep this going as long as we can.
Why?
As long as Sandy's got money in her banking account. We'll just keep this video rolling. Another one from Sandy.
Oh my goodness,
That's like
Sandy.
four or five there.
Wow, Sandy.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's awesome. Maybe we can go to the movies tonight.
Yeah. Oh.
Still haven't seen the Avengers. What?
Okay, so I'll tell the story.
What?
So Angela and I,
Oh, yeah.
we went out, a big 30-year anniversary celebration.
Went and bought pillows.
So we went shopping for pillows.
So exciting. Because we're just that hardcore.
That's right. Because, that's what famous people do. Go pillow shopping. So
Nobody knew who we were. It's sad.
So we're sitting there. It's like late. It's well after lunchtime, but too early for dinner. And we're
Right.
like, well, what do we want to do? Well, let's see what's at the movies. All right. So Angela looks up. Hey, the Avengers are playing at like 3:00 or something.
Right. And we weren't in town. We were in another
We're in
town
the
over.
Right. So okay. Well, let's just grab a quick bite to eat. Just something small to hold us through the movie. Then we'll have a nice dinner.
Right.
Okay. So we do that. We get the food. We drive over to the movie theater. Walk in. Like, hey, we're here for the 3:20 showing of Avengers. And like, we don't have a 3:20 showing.
Doesn't start till 5.
And then it was like, well, maybe the 3:15 showing. No, we don't have a show. It's like, no, but it's what it said on the.
And then
on the website.
I got into it and I was like, it said 3:10. It's 3:10.
3:10.
Yeah. And then he's like, no, we don't have one. And then he was like, well, maybe you were looking, at the Little Rock Theater.
Right.
And I was like
how insulting.
how cannot believe you.
So she pulls out her phone. She gets on there. She looks it up. No, she's looking at the Russellville Theater. And we're in Conway. So, yeah.
I was looking at the whole wrong theater.
So we didn't
I was
see a
like,
movie.
so he was right.
Now we weren't hungry enough to go somewhere nice to eat.
So we just drove home.
Yep. We took our pillows and went home.
I ruined it. I was just so insulted. Like, why would you think that I would be that dumb? I know what theater I'm looking at. Come on.
I'm a professional YouTuber here.
And
I know
then
how to
I'm
use
looking
technology.
like, oh, yeah, that's the Russellville. That's a theater from our town. Never mind. And I'm going to make some little kind of medium-sized dots here.
And more super chat.
Woo.
This one's from Tamara. No message. I think she liked the story about the movies and the pillows. Or maybe just pillows.
We're just that retarded. Oops, I'm not supposed to say that word anymore. Sorry.
She didn't say what.
Don't tell anybody I said that.
I think I was speaking over it, so.
Okay, good. Okay. I am almost done. I'm just kind of adding some sort of medium-sized dots here. I feel like the more dots, the better on this one. It just kind of gives it that sort of magical nighttime feel. All right, I think I'm done. I should stop while I'm ahead. I think
Step
I could
away.
just keep going until
I've kept the lights
Okay.
keep the lights on.
Keep
The money
the lights
just keeps
on the whole
coming in. All right,
That's
Sandy.
fine.
Sandy, this is your last chance.
She's about to close it down.
We're gonna
You
shut
want to
this
get one
down.
more in? Okay,
You
now
have
I'm
to
going to
use
have
white.
to sign it with white. Yep, I sure am. I'm going to use my Molotow. Actually, I don't think I want to use white. I think I'm going to use a brush because I don't want it that bright down here. I'm going to use a light blue. Use that teal color.
Oh, that special brush you were using was not in your list down
Oh,
below.
really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll have to add it to it.
Okay.
I'll have to see if they have it on the brush guys. I have Cinnamon's brushes. Cinnamon's are very similar. I have this set from Cinnamon's, the Art Sherpa set in my brush guys list, and they're very similar, so you could use those instead. Shout out to my friend Cinnamon.
We need to add it to the description in your
Yeah, I do.
video there.
Right, just sign in real quick here. My pen. And here again, liner brush. The key, I choke up real high on it so that only the tip is touching the canvas. And then I can kind of use it as like I would a pen. And you really have to kind of, I would practice this on paper, before you do it on your canvas. Just practice it a few times to get the knack for it. It can be a little bit
But
tricky.
don't sign Angela's name to the bottom of it. Sign your own.
Probably, yeah. I would.
Yeah.
suggest that. All right, guys, thanks for watching again today with us. It's been really fun. I've really enjoyed this one. Hope you have too. And if you do it, you can share it with me on all my social media links down in the description. And we'll be back on Tuesday night with another bird. That's why I showed you our little songbirds that we're working on. So we'll be working on another 5-inch canvas there. And then next Saturday, we're going to be a few hours early. We're going to go on at 10 a.m. And we'll be painting a really simple floral with some Q-tips. So it'll be real easy. We'll have some bees in there, some yellow flowers, but you could use whatever colors you want. If you don't want yellow, you could use whatever. But it should be fun. So be sure to come back for that, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys. Bye.